Hey, what's up, guys? Calgo back with another video. Today, I want to do my What If series. um, What if Naruto had a sister? Part 23. There. Um, Sorry for the last one. My last one, I said part 21 there, and was technically part 22. So sorry for that. So here goes in the last What If in part 22 there. Technically, we've seen Sasuke was mostly on the bridge there. He was going to take on Donzo there and stuff like that. When he was taking on Donzo, he technically kills Donzo there, like in the original series and stuff like that. Mostly kills his ass and stuff. And then Sakura comes by and actually was saying something about she wants to join him and stuff like that. And then he's like, fine. He's like, you can join me, but you have to kill her. Mostly he was talking about Connie there. Mostly he's saying something about killing Connie there and stuff like that. And then Connie was like looking and she's like, she's like, that's the girl. She's like, mostly he said that there, and mostly Sakura points the kunai right at Sasuke. He's like, why? He's like, why are you attacking me? There, and then grabs Sakura's hand there and snatches the kunai out of her hand and tries to kill her and stuff like that. Tries to kill Sakura there and stuff like that. When that was going on with that stuff there, when he was trying to kill Sakura there and stuff, we see Naruto comes to the rescue there. We see Naruto technically comes in a spring of action there. He gets cut by the cheek there by Sasuke, and mostly Naruto is saying you're okay, Naruto. Mostly having her like in her fight and stuff like that, and mostly Akashi's saying step back. He's like, I can handle Sasuke there and stuff like that. And Naruto was technically rebelling as Rasengan during this time there. Sasuke was building up his story. They collide there. And then they talk to saying something about like we need to bring him back to the village. He told Naruto's son Sasuke that and stuff. And Sasuke says he wants power and stuff like that. So he said he doesn't want to come back, and he's like, why you're doing this there? You always had your sister for. He's like, you never been alone, Naruto. You always had your sister there, and he's like, well, yeah, it's true there, but we can both die there, and there will, yes, there will be a Jinchuriki there. My sister will beat them with the whole the Nine Tails and stuff like that. Me and the other one can go to the grave and stuff like that. That's what Naruto was saying to Sasuke there. Mostly to get out of the Genjutsu there. And mostly, technically Sasuke goes with Obito. They go back to the village there. Tsunade was telling Naruto and Naruto to go to the island there and stuff like that. And stuff like that still happens there. And mostly, they are going off to the island there and stuff like that in the last part. So that was in part 22. So here it goes in part 23 there. So we go to where they technically arrive to the island there. Naruto and Naruto technically arrive to the island there and stuff like that. Technically they go meet their mostly to get their rooms and stuff like that. Technically we see Killer Bee there doing his like rap thing or his rhyme thing and stuff like that. He's like yeah and stuff like that stuff. So he kind of does his like little rhyme thing. He passes Naruto and Naruto there, and then Naruto and Naruto are like, you can please help us train us and stuff like that. He's like, well, how to control the thing that we all know. Naruto was actually saying, she's like, you're a Jinchuriki of the Eitos. He's like, yeah, me and Edo are homies or something like. He's like, me and Edo are homies there and stuff like that. And he does does this like little rhyme thing there and stuff like that. And then they're like, well, we have the Nine Tails inside of us there. And technically, B actually was talking to the Eight Tails there. The Eight Tails is like, well, we can actually help them there, how to control the Nine Tails like you control me and stuff like that. And he told Killer B that, and he's like, he's like, that's not a bad idea and stuff like that. That's what he said there, and he's like, well, technically, it's not mostly put in disclaimer here. Naruto doesn't do the sex jutsu because Naruto would be beating his ass if he did. If he did that because uh, technically he knows how to do the sex jutsu. Yes, he knows how to do sex jutsu, but technically he doesn't do it because for fear of his sister there and stuff like that. So they go to the thing there. Naruto. Let's go back to the story, but Naruto and Naruto had to fight their hateful selves. So technically, they had to fight their hateful selves and stuff like that. And mostly, they had to fight their hateful selves and stuff like that. And mostly, they actually got past Naruto and Naruto actually got past their hateful selves and stuff. So they go through the waterfall, and technically, when they go through the waterfall there, and then mostly he said jerky there. Mostly if you don't have the full control of the Cherokee there, mostly you can easily lose your head and stuff like that. And he said, and they're like, use it in Naruto, like he said in the original series there, saying just use a shadow clone. And he said a shadow clone won't work and stuff like that. It has to be an actual, like, Cherokee in there. And then he's like, one of you have to do it and stuff like that. And knowing Naruto, she's like, no, I don't want to do that and stuff like that. She doesn't want to do it and stuff. She's like, I don't want to do it and stuff. And then Naruto's like, well, he's like, I will do it and stuff. And then she's like, Naruto, don't do it and stuff like that. And he's like, well, we have to. He's like, we have to do it there. And he was like, we have to do it there and control the Nine Tails and stuff. So he does this like little thing, goes in the statue. Technically does like he does in the original series. He's like, and stuff like that. And then technically pull out Naruto's head, and Naruto's like, no, Naruto, no, and stuff. And then he pops out his head. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding there. And then Naruto gets pissed off there. Boom! It's Naruto in the head. He's like, you idiot. You scared me half to death. He's like, oh. He's like, why, Naruto? Why you hit me and stuff? And then mostly they get to the thing there. Killer Beaver said, like in the original series, they're saying, the Nine Tails is not going to come out of the thing there. That's what he was saying there. So they were technically taking on, they are mostly taking on their versions of the Nine Tails there. Mostly they're taking on Kurama there. So the hateful version of Kurama, Naruto takes on the hateful version of Kurama. Naruto's taking on the nice one there. Mostly they're trying to extract the chakra like Naruto does in the original series there. He's trying to extract the chakra from the freaking from it there and stuff like that. And then they're doing it there and they're trying to hold on to the thing. Naruto uses his Shadow Shuriken Jutsu there. It doesn't really work there and stuff like that. It doesn't really work there. He's using a Shadow Shuriken Jutsu there. It doesn't really work and stuff. Stuff plays the same there with Naruto's fight with Karma. Until Kushina has a ride there. And then she's like, Naruto, I will help you fight the Nine Tails and stuff like that. And then mostly you see chains coming around Karma. He's like, what the fuck and shit? He's like, not you and stuff like that. And then he's like, not you. He's like, damn you, Kushina, and stuff like that. That's what Kurama was actually saying and shit. Naruto uses his Rasengan like in the original series, defeats the Nine Tails there, and then technically he grabs the Nine Tails there, pulls him out and stuff like that, and it actually gains it and stuff. And then he does his like thing there to pin him like in the original series there. And then he comes over to Kurama there. He's like, you know what, Kurama? He's like, I'm gonna come in that thing and find some hate out of your side someday. That's what he says there. And then he walks away. So we get it. Mostly Naruto technically got his thing quicker because Kushina technically helped. So we go into Naruto's fight there. So Naruto's fight there, she was technically struggling against the Nine Tails there and stuff like that. And she's like, And he's like, "You don't have nothing against me," and stuff like that. And then she's like trying to hold the Nine Tails back. She's definitely having struggles against it until we see uh, we see Yamato arrive, and then he's like well, he's like, I will help you. He's like, Naruto, I will help you fight the he's like, I will help you take on the Nine Tails. She's like, Dad, and stuff like that. He's like, yes. He's like, let's do this and stuff. So mostly, Yamato does his flying Raijin there, uses this for Rasengan, and then the Nine Tails goes down from the Rasengan hit there and stuff like that. And then Narco uses her whirlpool, throws it there, hitting Kurama there, and mostly goes into like a whirlpool thing there, and then he's like, "Do it, Narco," and then Narco pulls the chakra out of the Nine Tails there, and then he's like, "No, not me," and then Timely she pins the Nine Tails down. She's like, "Shut up," and mostly does the same thing as Naruto there. She pins him down and she was starting to walk away. And she's like, he's like, "Why you pin me down?" And stuff like that. And that's what she told him to shut up, and mostly pinning Kermit down and stuff like that. And mostly all that stuff happens there. They get their they control their mostly Naruto and Naruto technically control their Nine Tails there. They get the Nine Tails cloak there, like they did in the original series with the full control Nine Tails cloak there. They both have it there and stuff like that. And then they're like, "How you defeated the Nine Tails pretty quick?" And then Naruto and Naruto were like saying, "Well, technically our parents technically helped us there to actually control the Nine Tails and stuff like that." So stuff plays the same there. For the Allied Shinobi forces there, stuff plays the same there with the companies and stuff like that. Gara starts up the Shinobi thing there. He starts up the Shinobi thing and stuff like that. That's still the Allied Shinobi forces and stuff like that. So that still happens in the original series. Technically, that still happens in the original series and stuff like that. But and then Akashi takes on the Seven Swordsman. That still happens. Everything plays out the same in the war assets until Naruto and Naruto technically runs outside there and gets stopped by Aruka there, and then Aruka mostly they have their sage modes on, so they know the war is going on. They know the war is going on. Naruto and Naruto are technically knowing the war is going on there, stuff like that. And then Aruka was like saying, "Go back, Naruto and Naruto," and then they're like, "Wait, what is going on, Sensei? What is it's going on? Why there's like a lot of killing and stuff like that?" So, and then Ruka was actually saying, "Well, the Fourth Great Ninja War it's kicked off there." Technically, he's saying the Fourth Great Ninja War actually has kicked off there and stuff like that. They're like, "Wait, a war there and stuff like that?" And they're like, "Yes," and stuff like that. But mostly made allies there to make the allied shinobi forces there to actually go against the Akatsuki, and technically going against the Akatsuki, and also mostly going against the Akatsuki there, and the White Zetsu there. He was saying something about the White Zetsu also. And then they're like, it's mostly the dead shinobi technically at this point. It was mostly the dead shinobi at this point there, were they're technically getting killed and shit. So, Naruto and Naruto are like, "Why we need to go help him?" And he's like, "No, you can't, you have to stay here," and stuff. And they're like, "Come on, Aruka, you know this," and stuff like that. And he's like, he told Naruto and Naruto, he's like, "Well, tell me you're like my little brother and sister. I don't want you to get hurt." There, that's right. That's what he was saying there. And they're like, even he said if you already have the Nine Tails controlled there and stuff like that. And then he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "Okay, just go," and stuff like that. He told Naruto and Naruto, "Just go." And then they're like, "Oh, thanks, Ruka," and stuff. And then mostly Naruto and Naruto were like leaving there, where the Tenma Killer B follows them. He's like, "Hey, I'll go with you guys," and stuff. And they're like, "Yeah, fine, sure," and stuff like that. And then the company there, they're like, wait, why you? They're telling Naruto and saying, why you didn't stop them and stuff. He's like, he said, maybe. He's like, I guess I failed. Naruto was like, well, I guess I failed there, so. And stuff like that. So Naruto and Naruto were busting through the walls there and shit like that, busting through the walls, getting out of the fucking island there. So when they get out of the island there and stuff like that. Most of these, there were Sangans to bust through the island and get out of the island and stuff like that. And then now they're heading off to the war. And that's where the what if technically ends there, because they get out of the island, they escape the island, and they are heading off to the war. So, we go. So in the next part there, we go into when Naruto and Naruto are going right into the war. So, yep. That's pretty much it. Comment, rate, and responsive to its pros. If you like weapon reviews, please subscribe. The notification on the uploads. Comment, responsive to its pros. If you like her out, have your peace.